Bullshit.
All right, grasshoppers.
28.
Look at this. Oh my God. Is this exciting or what?
Oh,
Gresh, are you excited? Are you as excited as I am, Gresh?
I mean, 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, I just don't know what to do. Like, there's no flocky
I know.
or whatever.
That's cute when they're sitting on each other's lap there, like they're taking turns.
Yeah, one was talking and the other one's lips were moving.
What did you see the video that they sent out? That I sent out of you and Flocky getting in a little fight. What happened? You guys are mad at each other?
No, we don't get mad at each other.
Seriously?
But we do have an issue, Tom.
What's the issue?
I got lots of issues this week.
Okay.
So
First of all, what are you wearing? What do you got on? Looks nice. Sure.
I got to leave early because I got a golf tournament that I just got invited to because I have a lot of people that need my services.
Right.
So just a Walter Hagen golf shirt, Citizen watch, of course, to match the golf shirt.
Sure.
Skinny black jeans and rocking the Rockford sandals. So, but we have we're going to have a liquor shortage here because, Ron.
Because what? Lover's quarrel. Why are you going to be liquor?
The employees of the liquor board commission are going on strike. So we have about a week and a half until all our booze is gone.
Well, stock up.
Yeah. So,
oh, man.
Yeah. So
that should be against the law. Some of those people going on strike. That's a necessary profession, whatever they call that.
Especially because it's 95 degrees here. There's lots of booze being drunk.
No kidding. I've gotten to making my own juices, freshly squeezed juices. So get fresh grapefruits, squeeze them up.
Really?
My little hand squeezer, yep.
Yeah. Huh. So it's 30 degrees there, right? Or what do you call that? 80 degrees there.
75, 80, around there. Dry.
So I've been worried about you and your personal hygiene again. So as you know, I have a subscription to Men's Health. So Alpine has put out something that. And are you sweating? You don't. Doesn't look like you're sweating right now. But
no, fine.
No. Okay, so I know you don't use deodorant or cologne, but here's something that might help you. Okay, it's called Alpine Provisions Body Wipes.
Body wipes.
Body wipes. So you can go buy, go look online. It's a little owl on the front of it. Okay, little owl. See it in the middle there?
Yeah. Nice.
And so when you're, walking hand in hand on the beach with that special someone, you can just bring out a body wipe. And wipe down a little bit, I'm just worried about you sweating,
I was actually interested. I was actually hired by a company to help them find money for a personal hygiene wipe for men and women before and after sex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this thing seems to state that it's not going
to. After sex, you just fall asleep.
After sex, yeah, let's leave.
Or leave.
Run.
Only that smells bad, your car seat.
Yeah, Mel, you know what? That really warms me to the cockles. You know that?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking of me like that.
Always. Seriously. Well, I see it here's another thing. And I got issues, okay? But here's another thing. So remember, Ron had said that you should probably steal the shampoos out of the hotels, right? So you remember these packaging?
Yeah.
Like, nothing frustrates me more than when my hands are wet and I'm trying to get in, and you don't have this problem because you don't use shampoo, but so
why would it?
Yeah, exactly. But you're supposed to rip the stupid thing. Even with your strength, Tommy, you can't rip this thing when your hands are wet. I guarantee it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That pisses me off.
Right. Yeah. So you're using it in the shower. Obviously, your hands are really wet.
Yeah.
Right.
So you don't put the shampoo on before you get in the shower, do you? No.
Well, I guess if you plan ahead, you could open that thing before you get in the shower. I mean,
that's what you got to do.
Right.
Yeah, Tom puts the shampoo on before he gets in the shower.
I actually do shampoo every couple of days just to keep the scalp nice and moisturized. Mel, when you said lubricate in the past, you mean moisturize or is it lubrication?
Well, a nice moisturizer. You have to like a.
Well, you said lubricate, which is fine. You can call it whatever you want. It's just
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, see, Tom, that's the problem. People take connotation. The connotation is, you know what I mean? Connotation. Right. You want me to spell that?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's fine. You're good.
Yeah. Get Ira to spell it.
Gresh, what's happening? Juicer, I know you. Let's back up a second. You're seeing a new and improved Ron Gresham. Do you see the difference? He's juicing today. Man, you are one healthy son of a gun.
The 6-way juicer today, 6 different juices. Start 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 to 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then you go out and have a big bottle of Jack Daniels, and it kills it all.
Jackson. Yeah, I agree. What? A little hockey news here. Susan's put it up there. I saw it on TSN. Kadri is signing with. Kadri signing with Calgary.
Yeah, the Beatles broke up too. Susan.
Hey, don't be picking on Susan. Well, maybe because she picks on me, so maybe
Yeah. Like nobody else heard that Kadri signed with him. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
I know, it's one of those days, Susan. You gotta take the good with the bad.
Wow, Susan, I can't believe that Ron's picking on you like that.
This is a sweetheart.
They traded Monahan to Montreal.
Yes,
and a first round pick.
First round pick. The guy didn't even play last year.
What'd they get back, Gresh?
What?
What'd they get back? Nothing. Problem.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know.
So they basically dumped Monahan, and Montreal gets a first round pick for taking one.
I think so. I think that's what the deal was. I'm not 100%. But
Well, so Calgary came out of it pretty good, losing Kachuk, hurt. Goudreau, I wasn't as high on, but now they had Huberdeau and that's pretty good.
Listen, I don't. I think Goudreau's a good player, but I'll tell you what. I mean, they have to put some people around him too.
See where Huberdeau donated his brain to science? To be anybody?
Is he smart?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as much to see how smart he is. Might have the CTE, but we should do that. Why don't we all make a pledge here to donate our brains?
Too late.
Why?
Not much left. Like, how much you think is left up there?
Well, is that too late? You see, we wouldn't be around to see the results, though, either. That's the only problem. I don't want to embarrass my sons.
Oh. And I started this too, Tom.
CBD?
Yeah.
Nice. Healthy Mr. Gresham.
Yep. Pretty soon I'll be able to think on my own. You know that? I won't need a computer.
So, Mel, you're back home, not at Sasquatch? Or?
Yeah, I got home. I'm home for a couple of weeks, but now all these golf tournaments are up. So I try and devote my time to charities, Tom. So, so it's tough, but I have to do it, right?
Yeah. Oh, how are we doing with the whole situation with the alumni? How are you feeling about that now? Are you still the same place?
Well, I did email you and said what was done, right? And I didn't respond, so I don't. At this point in time, I really don't give a crap. So, there was something else about. It doesn't matter.
Gresh, I guess I'll see you on Monday, right? At that golf tournament we're at together.
Oh, I didn't want to bring that up. We're doing it for free, though, Tom. So
that was the freebie. Is that the freebie?
Yeah, it's a freebie because they it's okay. It's a freebie that we're allowed to donate our time too, Mel.
Yeah, charity.
Yeah. Well, you can't always be taking. You got to give a little bit.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
And you do. Yeah.
A lot of these.
I think after 50 years of living in New York, I haven't given anything.
Yeah, but a lot of these golf tournaments aren't exactly free because you have to donate $1 here, $1 there. 20 here, 20 there. So, and then you got to buy a round, right? You can't look like a.
Nah, totally.
Yeah, you got to buy a round, and
so you buy a round for the group you golf with. Is that?
Yeah, and it's not a $3 beer anymore, Tom. It's an $8 beer.
Oh,
so
that's cheap.
Are you serious? The liquor workers are going on strike.
I wouldn't. That's not something to joke.
I know. No, you're right. I know that's not a joke.
So I'm leaving like in 22 minutes, and I told my son, "You go to the liquor store and stock up."
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing. But so I haven't been. I was in Winnipeg, July 15th, and I haven't talked about Sir James Patrick. But you two guys ripped him, like he is really pissed at you two guys.
And
I just texted him this morning about Flocky again. You brought up Flocky again.
Oh,
you ripped Sir James. He is.
How did I rip? Well, it's very factual, I think.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What did we say about James?
Yeah, I brought up the fact that James is very kind of mocked Flocky hockey.
So, and see, I'm the type of person. I asked Sir James. I said, "How's your cabin? How's your house?" I said, "How's the 4,000 square foot cabin coming?" He says, "Well, it's not quite that big." I said, "Well, okay, so It's 80% done. All right.
80%.
All they're working on is the big gate around the property and the security guard shack. Okay. And that should be done anytime.
Good. And how did he respond to that? Did you text that to him? Or?
No, he sent me a long text saying, when you go on the show today, tell Tom that he wasn't very nice to me.
Why? Because I told the truth.
I said, okay, James, I'll protect you again. Don't worry. It's okay.
Do you know what lake his cottage is at?
Falcon Lake, I think.
Wow, pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Why? You think I didn't know?
Just a little test there, man. A little test.
Yeah. So anyways, him and I met up for a 2.5-hour lunch. And if I ever get to New York, I hope.
Christine Brown is one heck of a woman. I'll tell you what.
So we sat down for 2.5 hours at a local pub, and he was nice enough to buy. Okay. I only had 3 beers. I took it easy on him. I didn't want to,
How do you guys get to the restaurant?
A buddy of mine drove me there, and then he drove himself there. So I didn't have a vehicle. I was staying with one of my buddies in North Kildonan. So, yeah. So
James' property is shaped like a toilet bowl. Phil, that's not bad, Bill. That's not bad.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty
Good
funny.
job, Billy.
Oh,
usually Bill is like as funny as a taking shit.
Oh, Billy.
Billy. How's Mrs. Melnick doing?
Rochelle. Well, I guess she's outside. My daughter's here from Victoria, so I guess
nice.
we're outside. But it is smoking hot. It's like 95 degrees here today. So there'll be lots of fluids being drank on the golf course today.
Good. So I got to admit, all right, I feel bad. So Pepper, my arch enemy, the dog, I yelled at them on Monday night.
Well, shit. Now, see, I was going to ask how the fighting was going with Piper, the dog.
Pepper. So that was my ex-wife. So sitting on the back deck on the phone.
Pepper. Yeah.
On the phone. And there's a couple behind me, probably about 20 feet behind me. They also have a small dog who likes to bark, but they seem to have it a little bit more under control. So, but Pepper and Pepper's mama come walking over and want to have a conversation outside with the other woman and her dog. So the 2 women are talking and the dogs are standing there barking. And I'm on the phone. And they're about 20 feet away from me.
They're both dogs are standing?
Yes, they're standing.
You can see them?
Yeah, I you know what, Ron? I felt like they were standing. It felt like the way they were barking, there was a standing bark.
Yeah, well, it's a different bark, yeah.
So I yelled at them. I said, enough. Shut the dogs up. They did. The dogs were scared. They stopped barking.
What about the 2 ladies?
The one left pretty quickly. They kind of ran home to safety.
Oh, my God.
I felt bad.
Should
I feel bad, Mel, or what?
No.
Oh, okay.
This has been going on way too long, Tom.
Yeah, it is. I know.
Yeah, no. So did you follow them did you see exactly where they entered their establishment?
I know where they live. So I didn't, yeah. She was running quickly.
So now I just, you know what I do? Get a sticky, throw something on the door and just say, please, I'm like.
Yes, you do. Well, I actually had to re-sign my lease. And so I took the time to read the pet section in the lease.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to tie your dog up in outside your own residence in any place on the grounds. And they do that. They tie their dog up outside. So I feel like you go and listen. And that's where the dog does most of the barking because they think it's cute that the dog barks.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's how they communicate like that, Tom.
Well, yeah, they're teaching the dog it's okay to bark. Yeah.
Okay, so hold on a second. So the dogs are chained up outside and the owners are inside.
No, they sit outside with the dog and every time like a delivery man comes by or something like that, the dog just goes into a frenzy.
Well, that's not hard to teach. You just do a little yank on the chain and they should shut up.
Well, I know. And there's lots of other people that walk their dogs and everything like that. And the dog is totally behaved, doesn't bark. So,
The dog.
So where we at, Mel, if you're in this situation, what would you be doing?
Well, I'd get Steve Smith, my neighbor, not Steve Smith, the guy that shot the puck into his own net in 1986.
Right.
I'd get him to make a sign.
Oh, and what would the sign say?
I don't know.
Shut the dog up. How about you get one of those? Apparently, there's these electric zappers. You can zap the dog from a distance.
Wow.
it's a dilemma, Tom. I'm surprised that they let you re-sign the lease, is what I was thinking.
Why is that?
When's your lease up? September 1st?
August 1st.
Did they jack the rent on you?
A little bit. Not bad.
Yeah.
At what, 8,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
Petty cash.
Yeah.
So let's get back to hockey that I don't watch in the wintertime, but let's talk about it in the summertime where it's 95 degrees out. So I was playing golf with a guy and he asked me, "You played hockey?" I said, "Yeah, I think I tried." And he said, "Why would Gaudreau go to Columbus?" Can anybody explain that?
I think that's where he's getting the most money.
No pressure either.
Yeah.
Hook up with Solani or what's his name?
Laney. Well, the story was he wanted to go to Philly. He's around them, but they didn't have any cap space.
Yeah.
So they couldn't sign him.
Well, that was a smart move.
Yeah, Philly's a mess. Oof.
Yeah.
D'Angelo went to Philly, right? D'Angelo?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they got that tough kid from out west. Philadelphia signed too.
Oh,
Ewan.
What?
Ewan?
No, another guy. I can't remember his name.
And why did the Ranger goalie Giorgio Armani? Why did he get signed somewhere else? What happened there?
they had to move him. He's too good of a goalie to be a backup goalie, really.
It's amazing how the Rangers over the last 15 years have had great backup goalies.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say that coach, the goalie coach, what's his name?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Really good coach. So Mel, what's like you have been traveling, golfing a lot. So what, not as much work going on, or what's happening? Are you just independent?
Not in the summertime. No, the market actually just went kaput.
Oh,
capitulation. You want me to spell that?
Yeah.
So no, I had, I went to Winnipeg for 11 days and I got right back and had to go to Kelowna, and then I had to go to Stick It near Moose, and then I had a wedding, and yeah, it's been just one thing after another. So now I got a couple of weeks off and I just have some in-town golf tournaments. When I was in Sicamous, the Canuck alumni, Robin Wiss, texted me and said, "You want to go up to Smithers they had a golf tournament and a charity hockey game against some Smithers firemen and police and that." And I said, "I think I'm done. I think I'm just going to get in the car and go home." So, but I did mention that I got stopped by the cops on the way there, right? And
yes, you did. And you had a little confrontation with the said officer.
yeah, well, no, I just, I know they have a tough job to do, but you don't need to tell them anything. That they just give me the ticket. So anyways, Coquihalla, which is our major thoroughfare to get to Stick It in Your Moose and Kelowna and all that, was washed out by torrential rain. So I have a little bit of an issue with the construction people. I know it's a tough job as well, but come on. So, they make us go 50. I'm going 140 kilometers. That's about 90 in a 50 zone, right?
50-kilometer zone?
Yeah, 50. So 30 miles an hour.
So basically endangering the lives of the workers?
Yeah, well, no, just let me get up to soliloquy, okay? They put the cones to start the frickin' construction 7 miles previous to where the construction. I got an issue with that. So now,
why they do that?
Hold on, Ron. So these people. So let's say you have to merge into the left lane. These people will merge into the left lane. There'll be 60 cars back. 60 cars. And they're going 30 miles an hour. Nay.
So you're one of those guys.
I'm one of those guys. I've got the top down, my hair is flowing, and I'm zooming past 60 cars until the construction. Then I go the regular speed limit. Can you tell me why? Okay, Ron, why 20 miles ahead of the construction they got to put a cone up?
Okay, they put the cones up, right?
Yeah.
And they say they're working that day from, we'll give you a number, from 8 to 4, the 8 hours, right? And they had their 2-hour lunch in there. They start picking the cones up at 4 o'clock.
Well,
5 miles. What?
Well, they worked till 4. When they picked the cones up before that?
So it takes them 4 hours to pick the cones up?
No. They start at 4 o'clock picking the cones up.
Yeah.
It takes them an hour and a half to pick those cones up, or 2 hours, right? To put them, stack them in the back. They get time and a half
Oh.
on the extra 2 hours. the only reason they do it. They don't need to backlog it 7 miles.
No.
I just drove down to Florida. I didn't know there's that many cones in the United States.
A lot of cones.
Yeah.
A lot of cones around New York too. Oh man.
Oh my God. Everywhere you went.
Reminds me of the time we put the cone on top of Nikki's car at LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah.
Cop stopped him, thought he was stealing the cone.
Yeah,
I think he was going to go and beat him up. Oh man, that was funny. Mm.
But anyway, what do you think?
I should have posted the picture. There's a picture of Sarah Palin in her New York Ranger regalia.
Oh yeah, I saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
Did she win or did she lose? I don't even know what happened.
She's winning. I think she won. Did she? It was all because of Dukes too. Dukes posted a picture of himself working out in the gym.
Yeah.
He was looking.
I saw that. He was doing like
was he like 90 years old? That's something like the old.
But he had weights. He had weight on his. Like I never see weights on yours, Tom.
I know, but that's something like old men do. That exercise that he was doing.
Yeah.
Tom, we are old.
No, we're not. Don't say that.
Do you have one of those big balls?
No, he's got no big balls. Not anymore. Sarah's got him. Sarah took him. Put him in her purse. I'll give you these balls back when I say so. Otherwise, I'm carrying your balls around in my purse.
So what's happening in the Big Apple? What do you guys got up in the next week or so?
Golf tournament Monday.
What's your involvement? What are you going to do?
Beer cart, make fun of people.
Beer cart?
Yeah. No, I don't think they have a beer cart. I think they have a station where they stop and get beers.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, no, we'll have our own cooler. Like we're gonna have our own cooler. And then
juice.
What's this tournament for?
Oh, this is which tournament is this, Gresh? What we're doing?
He's on the phone.
It's Chase. Maybe a Chase tournament.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to run. But anyways, for Chase.
Don't run. Don't. Just stay there. Sit and relax.
I got to do a conference call.
Oh. Is it Chase Bank? Is that what the term is? Chase Bank?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But some of us have to work. And then we just can't get. Whatever.
Just drive around, play golf tournaments, and hang out with their friends.
I enjoy not playing golf and going to the golf tournaments.
What golf course is it at?
Sleepy Hollow?
Sleepy Hollow. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's one of the best golf courses in the country.
Beautiful view of the Hudson River and everything here. Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and they have green grass there too.
I'll take pictures for you, Mel.
Sure, that'd be good. Who's on the docket?
We just show up. I don't know. Maybe Ron knows.
Just you and Ron.
Yeah, just me and you, Tom.
Yeah.
What else do they need? Like, what are they gonna do? Like,
that's all. Exactly. That's all you need.
Hey, you're gonna fly some more guys in?
Yeah.
Mel was busy.
I'm busy. I'm extremely busy. There was something that I had on my mind. Oh well.
It's gone now.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm a little disappointed in both of you two, really. I don't have a black shirt on today, and you haven't said anything about it.
Yeah, I did. I said you weren't sweating. I could not see sweat stains. That's what I. So.
Oh,
I got a black shirt on.
Nice. What's the logo on there? Is it a plane?
No, that's from this side. That's from
the logo on the other side.
Reddington Beach, Florida.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, I got to run.
All right. Have fun.
You guys say hi to Rocky. What's his name? Ronnie Hockey, or what's his name? Hockey Flocky. What's his name? Flocky. Flocky Hockey.
That'll be it. I won't see him for the rest of the summer, I don't think.
Oh, geez. You gonna be okay?
We'll FaceTime.
You don't tell me you FaceTime, do you?
Shit, yeah. Why not?
God.
FaceTime with Lucky Hockey. That's what.
Okay, let me ask you something, Tom. You're an IT. You're a techie, right?
Yep.
So I might be the only one that when I don't type on my phone. Okay, I talk into it.
Yeah.
The microphone. Ira, relax.
I love you. Oh man, that's touching.
Oh my God, Ira.
That's beautiful. I've got a tear in my eye now.
You guys should get a room.
I'm kidding.
So I talk into the phone. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I'm
You
sitting,
dictate, they call it. You're dictating.
when I'm sitting with 6 people, everybody can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So do you type? Can you type?
Yeah, I type. I'd rather dictate like you,
Yeah.
but I
Doesn't
type.
make sense. How many people would? Why would you type?
Yeah,
How
well,
does that-
sometimes though, does it always dictate properly?
no, of course not.
How does it dictate?
Improperly.
Okay.
No, what's going on in the news? Oh, you got to go, Gresh? What?
Yeah, I got to run. Nice talking to you all.
Where are you going wrong?
I got to do a conference call at 2:30.
2:30.
Well, you got 5 minutes. I got to leave in 5 minutes, and Tom's on his own.
Tom, who?
Yeah. So how's our friend Jackie, #1 on speed dial? Good.
Doing very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she got engaged, correct?
Yeah. They got a dog, or they had a dog before
Did you
that.
call? Did you call to congratulate her? Or?
I think yes, I did. No, I didn't call her. I messaged her.
You did.
Message.
Email.
Messenger.
So why will you email but not text?
I don't know. Just to piss you off. I don't know, Tom.
Okay. Hey,
What?
okay, listen. It was really nice talking to you guys, but talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, Ronald.
Did you see where your buddy Wayne Gretzky is getting sued?
Well, yes, I did.
What do you think of that?
Everybody, the roving reporter, Mr. Spazzano, I had a little talk with him yesterday. He's been drinking a lot lately. He's been he's taken after us, eh?
Oh, is he really been?
Yep.
I see his father in the morning at the beach. His father's got one of those electric detectors or metal
Oh,
detectors.
yeah. Trying to find jewelry.
Trying to find money. Yeah, he wants me to get rich out on the march.
So I'm sitting out in the backyard at 8:30 after golf yesterday and having a Kahlua and coffee and Bailey's coffee, cold iced coffee, whatever. Which I don't.
8:30 at night, you having coffee?
Yeah,
You sleep all right with that?
right out.
Oh, okay.
So Spazzano's texting me about having a beer, and then he texted me about Wayne. I said, "Well, is it true? I don't know if it's true. Like I haven't talked to him in a few years, and but he's 61 years old, and if he's done one wrong thing in his life, that's not a bad run for a guy, right? Like to me, he's still the best.
Yeah,
best I've ever met.
It just doesn't sound like Wayne at all, right?
No.
Yeah. So supposed the story is that he was involved in this drink that was a weight loss drink.
Yep.
And he made a claim that he lost 35 pounds or something like that in a couple of months. And some guy that was also involved in the company then invested more money in because they figured the stock price was going to go up because Wayne said he lost that weight.
Yeah.
And apparently, I guess then if they found out he didn't lose the weight and the guy lost money, right? Is that correct?
Buyer beware.
Yeah.
I didn't know the stock was public. Obviously, it didn't work for you, right? Because you're still a little heavy. So
if you call that heavy, then okay.
yeah. So are you suing as well, or I don't even know the name of the company. What is it?
I know. I saw it. It was I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
The drink. Yeah.
Well, it might have been because I had the double Kahlua and Bailey's.
Yeah. It might have been a night where I had my own tequila and grapefruit juice going on. So yeah, so I'm even healthier. I'm telling you another step here. Not using any store-bought fruit juices. It's all buy the thing, squeeze it up. I'll put a little guava in there for sweeten it up. Oh damn, might taste a little too good though. Some nights
with tequila.
Tequila, yeah. Oh,
so fruit juice with tequila.
Well, or else I'll make my own margarita. So I get lime juice with the guava in it as well.
So what is that, like 100? You'll squeeze 100 limes?
It's quite a few. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good workout. It's got the hand crank, so it's a good workout.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. So I was in Winnipeg. I was in Stickett near Moose. I was in Kelowna. I got an issue. Okay.
Katsu's suing as well. He gained weight.
So I got some issues. Okay. So when you go to a restaurant, like small town like Sicamous, you go to a restaurant, Ron knows everybody in town, right? Except for the red and whites from Alberta, the people that can't drive on the curves and shit. So we go to the restaurant. What I expect from the waitress is, "Hi, my name is. How can I help you?"
Right.
Right. That's common. I know. So I order my pizza, my beers, my whatever, and I say thank you. And you know what they say back? No worries. So what is a no worries?
How old is the waitress?
Well, they're a little bit younger, right? In the 20s, probably in the 20s. But my daughter's in the business, and she gets written up that she's such a good waitress all the time.
Right.
What happened to your welcome? What's this no worries crap?
Remember, you're a little bit intimidating, though, right? Like your whole persona, your persona is a little bit intimidating. Like she's like, I don't want to say it wrong. Like she may go in like a panic mode. Like, what do I say? And then, right.
So that's all you got?
Well, I mean, I'm speculating. I mean, I really don't know the girl, what her upbringing was, who taught her.
No, it's not just one. It's many times.
Right. And they all say the same thing?
Yeah, no worries.
No worries.
I phone the golf course. Hey, can I have this tee time? Thank you. No worries.
It may be a generational thing.
Yeah, well, something's got to change. Somebody's not teaching these kids. Because here's another one. Okay, remember what I said? When you start to tell a story, and the guy says he starts out by, "Hey, I'm going to tell you a funny story."
Sure.
Well, it's not funny until I say it's funny, or I laugh, or we laugh, or whatever in the group. But here's another thing. So I'm in the middle of the story. I'm saying something, and someone pipes up, "Shut up!" That type of thing.
In the middle of your story?
Yeah, in the middle of the story. Like, what is that? Why do you say "shut up" in the middle of the story? Like they can't believe it's such a good story. Shut up.
That kind of shut up. Oh, okay. Yeah.
God, that's irritating. I just want to punch the person in the head.
Well, you can't. Here's something more irritating, though. So somebody asks you a question, and you go ahead and you're starting to answer the question, and then they interrupt you while you're answering the question.
Yep.
Like that just, it's done. The conversation's over with in my mind. I'm done with the conversation. Then they're saying, they're sitting there waiting for me to keep talking. And I'm going, no, I'm not talking anymore.
Yeah.
Interrupt me. It's rude. It's disrespectful.
No, exactly. So there's a few issues, just out and about in the society. There's a few issues that need to be straightened out.
How about driving? I know you have an issue with some other drivers as well. I'll tell you what, it's gotten worse around here where people running red lights. They just, they don't care.
No.
Right?
Well, we have red light cameras now. So they put up a sign, and they put up the sign so freaking close to the red light that you're going to get caught, right?
Right.
So they have those at certain intersections, dangerous intersections, I guess, or high accident intersections. But no, it's I think it's a lack of respect in general. We get more and more. Susan Brooks, how about when someone says "get to the point"? That's a little rude. Yeah. Well, or Danny DeVito with the zzz, and you closing your eyes when I'm talking. That's kind of rude, isn't it?
But that's all in good humor, though. That's different because we love it so much.
That's what these people think is good humor too. Shut up.
I know. Yeah.
Dumb.
Some people get a little bit. There's still, when I march in the morning too, most people all say hello and hey, how are you doing? Everybody gets to know each other. Hey, Tom, how are you? You're wonderful. All that kind of stuff. This one guy though, he will not say hello. So I have to say hello to him every morning. He just will not say hello. Well, you know what? How close do you get to these people? Like side by side? Within about 5 feet, like they're going the opposite direction. The trail's probably 10, 12 feet wide. My recommendation, just a little small shoulder. The small shoulder. Drop. Just wait and see. Just put your head down. If he's got his head down, just give him a small shoulder. Okay. All right. I'll tell him. I do that in the city. It's terrible in the city. Because some people in the city, they just don't. They're rude. They're like if it's a narrower sidewalk, whatever, and there's 2 or 3 people walking together, they figure they need to walk all beside each other. So I've dropped the shoulder a few times. Yeah, you got 5 people walking across, and you go right through the middle. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're on the same page, Tom. Definitely. We're on the same page. So now. Oh, so hold on. The Ronald McDonald House here in the city had a block party last Saturday. So I was invited to that to go represent the Rangers at that event. I was over talking to a group of people. This one woman was at the table where I was signing autographs. And they called me over and said, Tom, this lady would like your autograph. So I'm trying to, as we're respectful men, I'm trying to address her. I'm looking her in the eyes. And I forgot that they've got these little mini nets on the ground. And I tripped on one and went flying into this one. And, well, my fist, I drew my fist back, so it wasn't a fist. It wasn't a hand any longer. It was a fist. But it hit her right in the breast.
Ooh.
Yes, I felt terrible, and I apologized right away.
You turned a little red.
I don't know. I may have been red. It was
Well, did you start sweating?
no. I think I was already sweating at that point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Understand.
So then what happened?
She hung around the rest of the day.
Yeah. Did you give her an autograph?
Yes, got her autograph. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. She was. She saved. I could have fallen down. She saved me. Her boob saved me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. You were about to say something.
Well, I don't want to elaborate on that story. I think that we can go many directions in that.
Yes, we could. Oh my god.
So,
It was hilarious. All the workers are standing there watching. They're like, "Tom, what are you doing?" Oh,
how many people were at this event?
it's pretty big. It was 68th Street between Park and Madison, so the whole block was
Oh yeah.
blocked off. Yeah.
Was one of Ron's bars close to it? Must have been.
There's a guy there he knew 40 years ago. Yeah.
Must have been. So unfortunately, Tom, I'm 6 minutes over.
What?
I gotta take off too. So, hey, Danny.
Danny was the one that sent the video.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Thanks, Danny.
She was excited.
Okay, so yeah,
right.
I'll see you next week.
Have fun golfing.
Yeah, I got to get out of here. So,
all right.
good night.
See ya. Whew, thank God he's gone. So no, I'm not going to get into any comments about the woman's breasts. No, Jack, stop. Wish you. That's terrible. Very nice person. I felt so bad too when I fell. When I fell too, and again, everybody's watching. They're looking at me like, "Tom, you idiot." Yes, there's one left, Bill. One left. I don't know if you guys watch this. I do a show now on Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock with that Rich Gaberti. Very interesting stuff. I'm really getting into a lot more to the mental health side of things, but very interesting, very educational. All right, so there isn't a whole lot going on in the hockey world right now. We saw where Kandra is signing with the Calgary Flames. Monahan's getting traded to Montreal. So that's about it. It's kind of quiet. If you guys got questions, we'll hang out. If not, might be happy hour. Let's upgrade these guests. These guys are banning. Yes. Everybody's got something. Well, it is during the summer. We've learned, again, like Larry said, during July and August, things get really quiet. So everybody plans other stuff. Your other podcasts are interesting. Thanks, Jack. Yeah. I've really found like getting like the women on the hypnotists and everything really good. Actually, we may be getting this woman on that's friends with Rich that she does breathing, coaches breathing properly. So let's see what we got here. When Kevin is on, should we be quiet? Should you be quiet? It is a little bit of a different format when Kevin's on, right? If we don't take as many questions, it seems like you guys can keep on writing stuff all you want. You don't have to stop doing that. In fact, it seems that, like, again, obviously if I'm on by myself, then it's more questions, and the comments, especially towards Larry, are pretty good. The dogs are barking. I was going to leave the window open today so everybody could hear the dogs barking, but I would like everybody's opinion though on the dog barking situation. Seriously. There you go. There you go. What else is going on today? There really isn't a whole lot happening. That guy Shannon was among the, yeah. So John Shannon is a guy, I think he's on TSN up in Canada, well-respected guy, and is usually pretty right on with the scoops that he gets. People really trust him a lot. And he had reported that Kadri was going to be signed with the Islanders by the end of the week. I get a sense that probably was true. Again, given it was from him, he is very reliable. I think that may have been the case. But then Calgary may have stepped in and said, hey, hold on a second. We maybe do a better deal for you. Again, I don't know what the numbers were with the Islanders, and I haven't seen the numbers with Calgary yet. Apparently, it's a 7-year contract. So I do believe that Shannon, when he usually says something, it really hurts his credibility. So again, I think that really was accurate. And then I think Calgary may have stepped in. Here's a good question. Thank you. How is the True Grit book coming? Great question. So we had planned on getting it done about a year ago, or maybe even longer. But I've been very lucky in my life. It's just we're always doing new things. So we're always adding to the book. It was probably a little shorter book than I wanted it to be anyways. So you keep adding to it. Actually, I was on with the writer, great guy, David Seegerman is writing the book for me. And we feel like we've got it where we want it now. And at some point, we're just going to say that enough's enough. We can't keep adding new stuff to it. Excuse me. Okay. So here's Pet, ultrasonic pet behavior training remote, the best. Well, I gotta be, I don't want to hurt the dog though. I don't know what. Yeah. That's actually, hold on here. We talk about Joe Namath. Joe Namath would be good with CTE. It'd be interesting to get him on. Where is that here? Some treatment involves breathing 100% pure oxygen. I saw that. I think you wrote that the other day too, Jack. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's interesting with Huberto. Really, it really made me think, like, why am I not donating my brain? I'm obviously not going to use it. It's pointless to have it go to waste. And if it's helping somebody else studying it, so I am going to look into that. I'll look into it tomorrow. See what we have to do that. Kevin was talking about how his father-in-law, I believe it was, Kevin Allen was saying how his father-in-law did that as well. It became like a real, like a club almost. I guess they invited to a convention all the people that had donated their brains, obviously before they died. So kind of boring get together. Here's a good question. I don't think you really ever block it out. You just, it's there. Obviously, I think it's more you just don't pay attention to it. That's not fair to say. I think on the road you try to just not pay attention to it. Or though, if they're booing you on the road, I think that's usually a sign of a compliment that they recognize you. If they're booing you at home, it's a little bit different. I think at home you probably pay attention to the noise a little bit more because typically they're behind you and they're cheering you on, like Garden fans. And I've said this before. Playing in the Garden is incredible thing to be able to do. The only issue is, as a young player, especially, as we know now with Ranger fans, they are diehard fans, and they live and breathe. And as the team's doing bad, they're doing bad. So you get the feeling in the building when things aren't going well from the fans that they're frustrated. But at first, you think that they're frustrated at you. It's not, they don't like you, and then you realize after a while it's the exact opposite. They love you. The Ranger fans just love the players. It's just that they express their opinion at the game, and you've got to get some thick skin and recognize that, they're not mad. They're behind you 100%. If you made a bad play and they're kind of booing, or you can sense it in the building, 2 minutes later, if you made a great play, they're cheering just as loud or louder. So, and there was a great scene this season during the playoffs with Shesterkin, where he, I can't remember, second round or whatever it was. He had played a really good game, led a bad goal in the second period, I believe it was. And it was amazing with the fans. They started chanting his name right away. Like they recognized, oh no, this is our guy. He's brought us this far, and we're going to get behind him. It was pretty cool to see that. So, any chance getting Barry back on? The problem with Barry is the time change, and I've stated this publicly, and I don't mind saying it again regarding Pav. I have tremendous respect for Barry Beck. He's a great friend of mine. Love playing as a player, as a person. It's fantastic. I did not agree with all the public discussion about Pav. Again, that's my opinion. Barry obviously had a different view. There's lots of players that have issues, other issues around the league. I was talking to Glenn Healy the other day, and we were discussing some guys. Glenn Healy's the head of the Alumni Association. But those situations are all handled privately. So again, that's my opinion on it. And it's not like my opinion of Barry changes at all because he had a different view on it. I just felt like any issues, Pav should be held. And again, like I said, I think Barry had the stance too that the league and everybody is kind of given up on retired players, and I don't agree with that either. The league and the Players Association puts in millions of dollars a year into the alumni to help players. If players need help, they can call Glenn Healy. They have to call Glenn Healy first. Legally, he can't go up to them. They've got to go to him. And many players have been helped. The alumni has helped many players. Individual teams still continue to help players. Rangers treat us fantastic. Other players help other players all the time. Sometimes people get away, and Barry's case, Barry's over in Hong Kong, right? I believe Hong Kong, and just away from the NHL world. So for me, being a player, then being an agent for 22 years, I was there, I was involved in it. I was probably more involved in as an agent because I was more in contact with general managers and management people, and they were doing a lot of stuff to help players. So, did you see Patrick Laine shaved his head to look more like you? Susan, you're on a roll today. That's good. You're butter. You're butter. My dad's helmet. Hold on, I might get to this question here too. It's about my father's. Your dad's helmet, leather. It isn't leather. It's the not plastic or whatever. It's got the leather badge on the front of it. Bill, you were a firefighter, correct? I think you were. Yeah. Yes, I actually, my father's passed away. I was able to. I had my father's helmet, his jacket that he actually wore in the fires, his dress jacket, and everything. So it's all stashed away. It's pretty. I think I've spoken many times. Yes, you were, Bill. Thank you. Bill's a firefighter. Thank you for all you do. But I've spoken many times to influence my father, and I didn't realize how much he influenced my life until probably the last 5 to 10 years. Writing a book and looking back on things. So, a good point. Claire, you're right. But I still don't think, whatever the papers and media want to write, that's one thing. But the other issues are like, and again, this is my opinion. Not everybody shares this opinion, but I just don't like when we would have more information about players than people like Pav than others were. And to talk about that publicly, again, I just didn't think that was right. Again, I hope I say this the right way. Barry threw his heart into that situation and really trying to help Pav, and he did it the way he did. Again, I think it could have been done quietly, but again, was Barry wanted to do it differently, and I don't begrudge him for that a bit. But yeah, Deb, it's a $50 fine. Deb, you were late. I'm disappointed in you. You're late. Everybody. Gresh leaves early. Mel leaves early. Jeez. Tom, looking back. Yes, this question. Go back. Do you think you ever played with a concussion? Oh yeah, and a lot of guys did. It wouldn't just be me. I've talked about the time in the playoffs when Bobby Nystrom knocked me out and spent the night in the hospital. So back when we played every other night, played at the Garden, spent the night in the hospital. And again, the thing is, concussion was never even really discussed. I don't view it that somebody was ever like hiding something or trying to make us play. It just was, okay, yeah, you're knocked out. So it was a whole different time. We didn't, in fairness to the doctors and trainers and everything, I don't think they were up to something. Spent the night in the hospital, came out, went to practice the next day, and then played the following day. So based on the way things are today, I was probably still would have been in concussion protocol if it was today. But the players are still like this, but we were really like that in the past. We would hide injuries, and it just because you wanted to play all the time, and there wasn't that many jobs, and you wanted to keep your job, and you didn't want to be viewed as a guy that wasn't going to play when he was hurt too. So I don't know if I told this, I can't remember what it was, probably like third or fourth year in the league, maybe a little longer than that. And I tore a tricep muscle, and it was rolled up in a ball. And I don't, you just, when you're that age too, you're fearless. You just think you can go through anything. So I continued to play with it. It was pretty painful. And when I was in the training room in a few periods one time with the Garden, the doctor came in and he said, "What are you doing?" I was icing it down. He said, "Let me take a look." And the trainer looked around and knew right away, like, oh God, because he figured the doctor would yank me on the lineup. And the doctor grabbed my arm and he goes, "What are you doing? Your tricep muscles rolled up in a ball in the back of your arm." And he said, "You can't play with that." And I said, "Doc, I've been playing with it for 2 weeks." So, but that was just, and again, I'm telling my story. Everybody was like that. That wasn't just me. It was a lot of guys were like that. So, okay, but Deb, but what's more important? You're giving a security presentation. More important than this show? Jeez, come on, Deb. You need to dock Gresh and Mel's pay for. Yeah, no question. Yeah, I mean, it's been a ongoing thing. Dukes quits, Dave Maloney quits, James is yanked off the show by his people. Larry and Gresh just show up whenever they want to show up. But hey, then I can do it by myself. Do you think it plays a question? So I think it really does get me thinking with that Huberto situation. I'm going to look into donating my brain. And I don't want any comments from Billy Kandra. Did he act like they'll reject it or something like that? That's not right. All right, guys. Listen, we're at 50 minutes. We usually go a little bit longer. It seems it's the summertime. If you guys got more questions, I'll stay on all day long talking if you want. Darn right, Jack. That's what I tell Jack. Why to put your foot down? Jack, who's at your picture? Is that the granddaughter or grandson or? Who's our next co-host? Next co-host. You know, we really would like to try to. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Your granddaughter, Jack. Thank you, cutie. Good job, Grandpa. So I have noticed I've been posting a lot more videos and doing stuff. This Rich Caberti has really taught me how to use this app called Splice. So we're trying to crank up the whole social media thing a little bit and make the show a little bit bigger as well, promote it more. So I would, we do need to get people. I know we're joking around, but we do need to get people a little bit more consistent. But again, it's the summertime, you know, so it's more during the hockey season needs that. But so next co-host, Ken, to answer your question, I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody to be like it really Mel's fantastic, Gresh's too, just different people. Granddaughter, Gabriella. Good job, Jack. That's your little granddaughter, Gabriella. Congratulations. You're a proud grandfather, I can tell. Good job. Good. Okay. See, sorry I had a little tough love there, Deb, but okay. That's fine. We'll let it happen again. Perfect. Thank you. So reported here by the great Carl Becker, Kadri signed 7 years at $7 million a year. Wow. He's a good player. That's a lot of money for him. He's not a number one centerman. He's a number two, but he's a really good number two centerman. That's my opinion. How about the fans FaceTime with you? Absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. When did you start? That's a great question. That changed over the years. So when I first turned pro, the older players back then, the veterans, they did not train during the summer. They would hang the skates up. They viewed it, and it wasn't about being lazy. First of all, we didn't know about what we do now about training and everything. But the players, they'd hang the skates up, and then they'd come back. We had a much longer training camp, 2 days, more games. So the guys would lose weight and get in shape at training camp by skating. It was. I remember I came to my first training camp, and I wanted to make the team, so I came back in great shape. And I was flying around the ice. I'm thinking, man, this NHL is easy. You know, like the first few days, the old guys are out of shape. By the end of camp, there was, you can see, okay, it's not that easy. Guys got in shape. So, but then as time went on, it's just, players learn more about conditioning. Younger guys were coming in there in shape, taking care of themselves better. So training camp changed, and there was more guys coming in shape. So, and now the veteran guys are just in fantastic shape. And trade Monahan, yes, yep, we saw that. Thank you, Carl. Beatles broke up. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I tell you what, I give that Tree Leving in Calgary a lot of credit because in one fall swoop there, he had to trade Kachuk, lost Goudreau, and looked bad. Like, okay, what are they going to do? And now he ends up getting Huberto, gets him signed to a long-term contract. They get that, was it Uyghur, the defenseman as well, and now they get Kadri. I give him a lot of credit. Yeah, good point, Susan. Yeah, maybe I'll try to get Kevin Weeks on. Yes, yeah, he would be. He's funny. I get a kick at him. I've done a couple of events with him, and he didn't know my level of smartassness, and we got going. We did an event one time, and I had to be careful. It was downtown. It was like one of those movie theaters where they make dinner and everything. And we had a chef there, and he was cooking dinner at the movie theater. And I was picking on people as they were coming down, but coming in to eat, and I had to be careful because they want to. There's a couple of people that may be a little heavy. Football's getting started soon. Training camp's right around the corner for the National Hockey League guys. It's gone fast, I guess, because it all got condensed last year with COVID and all that. COVID, yeah. Let me see here. Jack put this up for Neil Smith admitted he acquired Adam Oates and Roger Nielsen's. Those Jace Patrick Nick among the packs. Nielsen loved Turcotte. Imagine Oates and Messier. Huh? Well, I admitted he acquired animals. I never heard that before. That's interesting. Neil was good, and I don't mean this in a negative way when I say this about Neil, but Neil was kind of famous for he would kind of drop if there was a suspected trade or was he thinking about doing a trade, he would kind of leak it a little bit, see what the response would be. This is the story, anyways. I don't know. I don't think guys do that as much anymore. Deb. You know, I know you're late, but it's, you know, that's an emotional subject for me. And we've already discussed it. You know, now I'm going to bring it up again. It's like opening up an old wound. No, well, it appears things have quieted down a little bit after I kind of raised my voice the other day. He would be a good guest. I don't know. I don't know. I have a good feeling about him. He was the kind of guy that, you know, when he was coaching Philadelphia, for instance, like I knew Mike Keenan. We tried out for the Canadian Olympic team together. And, but when he coached Philadelphia, you walk down the hallway, you walk right by him. He's a coach. I'm a player. It's not like, you know, it's another player that we don't want to talk to each other. And then when later on he needed help getting connected with somebody, he was out of a job, looking for a job. You know, he's calling me up and, hey, Tommy, and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's just not my kind of guy. But what is Kandra's ceiling in your opinions for him? Oof. Unlimited. He's good. Really good. He's not an Adam Fox kind of player where he's like really like, you know, that slow it down kind of guy. He's big. He can skate. I think he's getting more comfortable with the physical part of the game. His body will fill out some more. He'll be even stronger. He's that, oh man, like big, long arms, you know, like him and Trouba together. Yeah. How old is Kandra Miller? I can't remember, but man, I really like him a lot. A guy that's that big, can skate, handle the puck. You know, he showed some offensive flair sometimes, scoring goals. So, he seems to have a really good attitude about him too. So, and he's another one of those guys. And I've said this before. That playoff run that they had this past year, that's huge for them. Those young players to go through that. I did that my rookie year. We went to the semifinals ourselves, lost to the Islanders in 4 games, and going through that process, we beating LA like the tense brawls, St. Louis, like oh man, tough and physical games. And you felt so much better about yourself when it was all done. And then coming back to training camp the next year, it was just a huge experience. So I think you'll see a lot. And again, the Rangers are good enough that they should have a run every year of at least a couple rounds and hopefully win the cup. But again, they're in a tough. The East is tough here. You know, Tampa's still good, Florida's good, Carolina's good, Boston's still there, Washington, Pittsburgh. Kandra Miller, 22 years old. Thank you. So I think I touched on this yesterday with Kevin Allen. I think it was that. I think it's changed a little bit, but it used to be. Hold on a second. It used to be that people would say that when you hit 25 years old as a defenseman, whatever kind of a player you were at that point, then that's who you were. That it took that long to mature, but that was most guys starting, 2021. So Kandra Miller, I think that's maybe a little bit younger age now, maybe 23 or 24. So he's got a couple more years of developing to get better and better, and then that's what you see. And so I think you even see him how much better he got during this past season too, like just more comfortable and doing more things out there. Because when you're out there, listen, you always want to make a difference. But as a defenseman too, it's about making decisions, moving the puck. You can't be running around all over the place. It's different as a forward. I mean, you're out there, just go make things happen, right? And I think you saw that Lafreniere started to do more of that in the playoffs, right? Like getting more physical and trying to get things going more. So, what's this? Saying yeah, I saw that. Yeah. And apparently, I was listening to Boomer. He was not today, but his show, they were talking how that in Philly now, when a good play is made on the broadcast, they got a Keith Hernandez approved sticker or something they use. It's pretty funny the way they were talking about it, because I think Philly's actually done a good job with it. Instead of like getting mad about it, they kind of made it into a kind of a funny thing. So. What's your most memorable goal in the NHL? Well, could talk about the one I scored my own net. That probably is my most memorable goal. I'd have to say it was. I'll get to a real one, but that feeling I'll never forget that. Because I had a really good training camp, probably better than expected. In the lineup and opening night, we're up in Boston and playing in the NHL, dream come true. and I shoot the puck in my own net. And again, you go back to the bench. There's nothing. Nobody can say anything to you. So I had that feeling like just all alone, like the biggest loser on the planet. Made up for it next night though, so it worked out all right. Remember a goal or otherwise, like a real goal. I really don't. I can't say. I scored a playoff goal with the Kings in Edmonton. We were down in the series, and I scored. It was kind of a big goal. That's interesting, though. I'd have to really 25 in 10 years. There's not a whole lot of excitement there. Since you're up at 345, do you DVR West Coast games? I don't. I typically will watch the NHL Network and see the highlights. A lot of times those games are replayed on too. So, but I don't know. Did you ever flip this? Oh, did you ever flip the sign, man? Philly the Bird. No, he was pretty creative though. He was good. Yeah, we used to get a kick out of his stuff. That's the kind of stuff you just can't. With that guy, because he's there every game. He's always holding signs up. Pretty creative stuff. Yeah. John Van Beesbroek. Well, John. Hold on. You ever what is BS? He talked about himself the whole time. John, he's got no issue with confidence. John, let's see. Part of it is I guess we'd be changed up to guests all the time. I'd like to get somebody that's a real regular, but yeah, then it doesn't matter. Just change it up. Do you remember your first goal? Yes. Hold on. Chris, or Chris, do you remember first? Yes, I do. I definitely do. I was assisted by Phil Esposito and Barry Beck, actually. Freddie Shearer was the coach. He put me on the front of the net on the power play. I can't remember if Barry or Phil shot it, but Phil passed to Bubba, I think it was, and Bubba shot, and I put in the rebound. Actually, my parents made it into a plaque. There's a great picture where I was kind of reaching forward. It wasn't a Bobby Orr moment, but I was kind of like falling down. So you got fucking, yeah, that was pretty exciting too. And especially the fact that Phil Esposito assisted on it. That was pretty cool. Playing under the bright lights. See, I don't get that at all. It was fantastic. I don't see, I played in LA, still a big city, but people didn't care as much about the team. I thought playing in New York was incredible. Like I mentioned before, you did have to get used to the Ranger fans being so into the game. So when something went wrong, they would let you know. They weren't happy about it. But then once you realize it wasn't because they didn't like you, in fact, they loved you. So when I hear people say some people can't handle playing with bright lights, yeah, I just don't. I don't see that, and I really don't see. At least when I played, I didn't see a lot of players that didn't want to either. Jay Wells used to laugh because when I first got traded out to LA, I wasn't happy about it. I wanted to be in New York, and I don't think I talked about it, but I maybe was thinking sensitive or whatever. And Jay had pretty sharp sense of humor too, and he was like, "Oh, poor Tommy, I wouldn't want to play in New York." He said something like that. And then when he got traded in New York, obviously he was with the Rangers when they won the Cup in '94. And we talked about it recently. We were at some charity event where he was there. And he feels the same way. I think he's kind of giving me a hard time more than anything. But to be honest with you, I don't know players that would say, "I'm not playing in New York. I don't want to play in New York." I just don't see, maybe there's some guys, but I don't see that. Anything scary, funny? So before the pandemic, so I've kind of changed my schedule a little bit. I used to do the march before going to the gym. Now I just I do the short march and do motivational speak, little motivational video, and then I go to the gym and then I do the longer march after. But when I was going before, when it was really dark, when I was walking in the neighborhoods, I would have to make sure that I yelled, was grunting and groaning all the time, because the skunks, especially on the days where the garbage was out, the skunks would be in the garbage, and if I scared them, I almost got sprayed a couple of times. So I yell in advance, and especially I know areas where the skunks were. But it was funny because there's a couple of times if I'm out like at 4 a.m. and people are coming, in New York, which is right across the border in New York, people were out at bars and coming home at 4 a.m. Before they were going to bed, they were outside having a cigarette. And, they're weaving around and they're hammered. Here I come, I'm all dressed in black and I'm grunting and groaning. And they're like, "What is this idiot doing?" So, Donnie Murdoch could be a great guest. He's really, who said that here? I talked to Donnie. He's really turned his life around, and I mean that in a good way. There's a lot of, we tell a lot of old stories, right? So the problem would be that, we tell old stories about times when Donnie was doing the drinking and having fun, and he doesn't try to hide that. He's not ashamed of it, but it's just not who he is now. So he doesn't really want to relive that, and I don't blame him a bit. We had a great conversation. I don't know him as well as Gresh does. I know him a little bit, but I love the guy. He's fantastic. And like I said, I had a super conversation with him. You could just tell that he really worked hard to turn his life around, and was, like I said, not ashamed of anything, but just, no, I really don't need to relive it. And, maybe if just him and I go on one time to talk about more of what he's doing right now, but to have him go on and rehash everything that he did in the past, yeah. And I, like I said, I don't blame him a bit. I admire him for it. So, oh, yes. Steve Weeks would be cool. Steve Weeks. I haven't seen Steve Weeks. So Steve and I played college hockey together too. We started in Northern Michigan as freshmen, ended up as seniors. We both signed with the Rangers at the same time, had the same agent. Good guy, Steve Weeks. Very, very intelligent. He's one of the few guys that studied in college. we used to make fun of him. We'd all be going out and he'd be in his room, lock the door, studying. Like, what are you doing? You can't study at college. You're supposed to be going out and having fun. Oh, God. Oh, here's a good one. Glennie Hanlon. That's a guy I'd love to get. There's a lot of guys I'd like to get a hold of too, but Glennie was fantastic. Funny man. We've talked about him many times. Like he's like two different people. Like game day, you couldn't even talk to him. Don't even think about it. But when it wasn't game day, he was just funny, great teammate. Oh, like the team to him, like he just, like I know we told the story, the Thomas Sanson story before. Like, so Glennie was really good friends with Tiger Williams. I think they played together in Vancouver before that or after. I can't remember where it was. And they both were like huge team guys. Tiger Williams, I think I told you when I got traded to LA, he was there, and we'd come into Washington to play a game. And Bobby Carpenter, who was on the Kings now, had a holdout with the Washington Capitals, so they really hated him there. So in warm-ups, this big guy, he's sitting there, popcorn all over his shirt and everything, and he's screaming at Carpenter, "You suck," and all this kinds of stuff, and everybody could hear it. And I'm skating around, and I'll never forget Pete Peters. You come around at center ice, and you both kind of skate beside somebody, one on one side of the red line, one on the other. And Pete Peters all of a sudden stops and goes, "What is going on?" So we look over, and Tiger Woods had gotten all the pucks, like he kind of made a little basket with his jersey, and got all the pucks there. And he's got up on the glass, and he's rifling the pucks at this guy that's yelling at Carpenter. It was the funniest scene. It was hilarious. And Tiger waited to the whole team to get into the locker room. He did this intentionally, and he waited for the whole team to get in the locker room. He says, "Nobody ever speaks to my teammate like that again." Like he had a whole thing planned. Like Tiger had this. People thought Tiger was this wild, crazy guy, but he's a very intelligent man. He did that on purpose. He knew what he was doing. He invited Bob Bourne and I to a pregame meal one time, and walked in. This is 1987 or 88, something like that, and. He had a computer in his house. And he had the ticker tape from the stock market going across. So he was investing his own money, apparently invested really well, made a lot of money after the game. He's not at all what he knew what he was doing. He was a branding expert. He knew exactly. So, let me see here. George and Fiona Brown have played together. Born Richard McBride didn't play like George did. Well, yeah, it wasn't his makeup. Like George is one of those guys, and I mean this is a total compliment to him. He was just supremely confident in himself. For a small man, like he was physically confident, mentally confident in himself. He went to law school after. And Brian McClellan was more like the laid back, easygoing guy. But I'll tell you, you look up. There's a video of him fighting Larry Playfair, and he knocked. I don't know if he knocked him out. Certainly knocked him down. So Larry, I know Brian didn't fight as much. Man, he was tough. He's a big, strong man. His personality was just more of a laid back, easygoing guy. I hear you. But that just wasn't his game at all. He was a good player too. Eddie Mio, that would be funny. I make fun of Eddie sometimes. We call him Potato Head and all that kind of stuff. He was a great teammate as well. It says a lot. He was Wayne Gretzky's best man. They're still great friends. And Wayne's he's a pretty straight shooting guy, so he wouldn't have him as a friend if Eddie wasn't a good guy. But I do tell a story too where Mike Allison and I were in LA. We played together here at Rangers, and then we were in LA. And it was a preseason game, and a bunch of young kids in the lineup and everything. And Mike and I are, kind of the veteran guys now, and we started telling stories about Eddie Meal, making fun of him. Wayne's playing. And we knew, but had forgotten that Eddie was Wayne's best man, because Eddie tells everybody on the planet. And so Wayne let us go. We went on for like 5-10 minutes telling these stories, laughing, joking, and we're at the end, we're the only two veteran guys. We high-five each other. Everybody's dying laughing. We walk in the trainer's room, and Wayne comes into the training room and says, you guys do know that Eddie's my best man. And Wayne's good too. He said it in a way like, oh, he's pissed. And we both, Mike and I, looked at each other like, oh God, we're getting traded, and Wayne let it go for 15 seconds. And then he stopped. He goes, I'm just kidding. He is my best man, but I know the way he is. So Wayne was good that way. I saw him do that kind of stuff. He knew the impact he had on people. So he would do that. He did it to a reporter one time in Chicago, a young guy. And the poor kid was devastated. And then Wayne put his arm around him and says, yeah, come on, let's go. Let's get this thing done. So Mike Allison, we've had him on the show a couple of times. He's doing fantastic. And love to have him on again. He's got a great personality. Another one of those guys that I was very proud to play with. Great person. We came in together as rookies. And Mike had some injuries. And it was interesting listening to him talk when we did the show. He was really kind of down on himself as far as his career, thinking it wasn't a good career. I got to tell you, I think it's more because everybody thought he was going to be a real big goal scorer. I guess he did score early in his career, but fantastic team player. Oh, man, great face-off guy, penalty killer. Just one of those guys who would die for the team. Yeah, great guys. And he's doing well now. He had went to work for the Border Patrol. He was on the guards at the border. Did that for enough to retire, like going to retirement age. Just done it like 20 years. He's married, lives up in Fort Francis still. Great guy. We had him on the show. It's great to see him again. He's good, man. A lot like Lenny Hanlon and funny like that. It was just a good sense of humor. Yeah, with Ted Sater. No, Ted Sater's not coming on. Oh, that'd be interesting. I didn't get to play with Lane that long, and no, I would not say to you that I saw a head coach in him. There's some guys that it's a great question, because there's some guys that you play with, you think, that guy's gonna be a coach someday. I didn't see that, but again, I did not play with him that long. But apparently, people really said fantastic things about him, the way he coaches now. Actually, another former Northern Michigan guy, Jimmy Hillier, had been there with him too. I'm not sure if he's going to stay around or not. He'd been with Mike Babcock for many years in Toronto, and I think in Detroit as well. Bob Bruck. I did see Bob Bruck. Bob Bruck was working for a company called Hedgeye. My son was also working for Hedgeye. Hedgeye is one of those companies where they analyze stocks and companies, and then they sell off their information to hedge funds, so they can make decisions what to do with their money. And Bob was a salesman there, so he was recruiting people to buy their services. Bob was a different, and I don't mean this a bad way. Bob was like that very intelligent guy, soft-spoken. The rest of us a bunch of mudheads. I can't put a sentence together. And Bob was this very intelligent guy, tough player, good player, tough too. And I remember a few scraps got it early, and you're like, oh, because he wasn't acting like the rest of us, like a bunch of barbarians. And but he was great, good team player. Ultimately he was assistant captain, because it was Gresh and him and I. A couple of funny stories we've told where Gresh was captain, I was assistant, Bob Burke was the other assistant. Like the time when Ted said he was going to punish the team, but he decided you want to make the rest of them feel bad, so he skated Bob Burke and I and Gresh for about half an hour back and forth, while the rest of the team just kneeled down on the ice at one end. He thought the rest of the guys were going to feel bad. It was hilarious. They're all dying laughing. I've told this story too. Ramo Hellman, and I think it was really nice young kid. His English wasn't that good, so after he got done, he goes, "Tommy, why only you three skate?" It was funny because the whole concept was that everybody's supposed to feel bad, but this poor young guy didn't even understand what was going on. So it wasn't his fault. He was a great kid. He was a good player. I remember him. He was good. Yeah. We had a great bunch of guys for the Rangers here. I'll tell you, there wasn't many guys that you just didn't say, it wasn't just their teammate, but they're good team players too. Jan Eriks is one of them too. He should be one of the favorites for all Ranger fans. I think he is one of the favorites. Probably one of the most, I was going to say underrated, but I think people do recognize how good he was. I haven't heard from Jan. Love to. He was one of those really soft-spoken. The Swedish guys were great, real gentlemen, but they're also they're fun guys. It was time to go have a few beers. They're right there. They're good guys, good teammates. Yeah, that was and then there was the Finnish guys, Rexy, Ruud Salainen. He wouldn't talk like the first few months. We thought he couldn't talk English. We went out to the pub one time for a few drinks, and he lit up a little bit, and all of a sudden he stopped in English. It's like, I guess the tequila or whatever taught him how to speak English. I played with Wolf Pano. I didn't play with him that long either, but I played against him a lot. Tough player. Oh man, he's like a little fire hydrant and could fight, score goals, and everything like that. And a good guy, another real good team player. Yeah, Kelly Miller, same kind of players. Maybe Kelly Miller is a little bit better skater, but the skating never got in the way of. It wasn't like Jan Eriksson was a bad skater. I thought Kelly Miller was maybe a little bit better skater, but. And I don't know if Kelly Miller was as good defensively as Jan Eriksson. Jan Eriksson was just, and it seemed like every game too was the same thing. Like guys eventually have bad games sometimes, but he was always on fire. He was good. Mikko Lennon was good. I think I've got this right. The little off in the spelling there, but I know what you mean. I think it was a game in Winnipeg, and he'd taken a penalty, and he was a competitive player. And he was not happy. And I think if I remember correctly, he started taking his equipment off and kicking it. Yes. He was funny. He was really like, he was a smaller, wiry guy, man. But he was competing. He'd get mad. Like if things weren't going his way, like he was just like a terror out there too. Anders Hedberg, yes, I played with Anders. Yep, sure they did. A great player. I was obviously with him at the end of his career. The funny story with him is, and it's a generational thing. Phil was still playing. It was my first year. Phil retired halfway through the year, and we're in the locker room between periods. And Andrew's wife was giving birth, and the team knew that when he got called that she was giving birth, we were at home. He was going to leave the game and leave and go to the hospital. So I'm sitting right beside Anders, and across the locker room from us is Phil Esposito. Now Phil's that old school guy where they weren't leaving. They were staying playing the game. The wife, he was going to be doing anything anyways with the baby. So she was going to be on her own. And he started laying into Anders. And I'm sitting watching this as a rookie. There's Phil Esposito, right? A legendary player like he is, and Anders Hedberg. And Phil's just giving it to him. Anders, to his credit, doesn't say a word, just continues to get undressed and leaves. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. And I don't criticize either one of the players for that. I think Phil was a tremendous team player. He came from a different generation where they just didn't handle things that way. And he was captain of the team, leader, been around a long time, and he just wasn't going to accept it. But in Anders' credit, times have changed. The guys, it's kind of, if he didn't leave now, everybody'd be like, come on, you're being kind of a jerk. Your wife's giving birth, right? So again, I understood it totally, but it still was quite a scene to be sitting there as a rookie in the NHL watching Phil lose it. Whatever happened to Mike Ridley? I don't know what happened to Mike Ridley. It's a good question. Since he left and played Washington, and he was a good player too. I was bad with him one time. I was, before I got traded, I wasn't playing well. I'd hurt my back and everything. And Mike, again, good guy, but he had a little bit of it appeared to be a pouty thing going on. And I don't think that's really who it was, but it came off like that. So he had gotten traded to Washington, and I was on the bench, I'll never forget. And it was more of my frustration with myself. And I started ripping into him. I was pouty little guy and used some other choice words. And some of the guys on the bench were looking at me and like, Tommy, what are you doing? It's like it's a former team. I mean, okay, and he really hadn't done anything. And I was like, again, it was more of my frustration with myself. So Steve Richmond, one of my favorites. Oh God, he's a good guy. He's doing great now too. I think he's head of player development with the Washington Capitals. I think that's his title. There's a guy that got the most out of his career. He really did. And he may not have been remembered as a great player, but he wasn't that big of a guy. He took on everybody. Physical player, again, great team guy. We do speak every once in a while. He would be a good guest. He probably have to be a little careful because he's still working for a team. But yeah, he was fantastic. Yeah. Let me see. Alfie Nanners with the fire alarm story with Nikki. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Where Nikki called them and had to go downstairs, and they were. What was my regular D partner? Whoops. Yes, remember that, Clark Gillis? Yep. Sorry, I'll ask you one question. Who's my regular D partner? Well, first go back to the Alfie Anderson stories. Yeah, that was funny when Nikki told that story about how he called them. They pulled the alarm, I guess, or something, called the room and told them they had to leave. And they left. They got no, they had their trench coats on or something like that. And then Nikki told them what was going on. He pulled a joke on Nikki. No, that's not a funny joke. So my regular department, more defensive partner in LA was probably Steve Duchesne more often. You know, he was a really good offensive player. I was the defensive player. Yeah, we had some good years together there. We had one year where we were both like plus 40 or whatever, something like that, some big number, plus 30, something. Good guy too. He, the French guy. We speak every once in a while too. He's gotten into this same kind of business, the other business I do with post-game strategies, where we find money for deals. He's a pretty creative guy. Really, I liked him a lot. And again, I don't think he was even drafted, but he became a really good player, really good offensive player, pretty slick. Yeah, he was good. Steve was funny when Zach is a devil. Steve Richmond. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's Billy dropping names again. Just kidding. That's right. I forgot he was a devil. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, funny guy. Well, there's some funny stories that I can't tell about him. Apparently, he's really got. We were talking about the whole healthy food thing and everything. And of course, I think I'm lecturing him, and he's already way ahead of me. He's really in the healthy food state. But again, he's really done well with the Washington Capitals, and he and George, I have talked before, were really good friends. So that's how I initially got the job when George was GM. And I think George wanted to hire him when he went to Vegas as well, but stayed there. Andre Dory, Trap Door, good man. Going through a tough time now. His wife's not doing well, but he's just a real gentleman too. Did very well, had a good career in Wall Street, made a good transition in life. That ended for him, and then he started that company called. It's awful. He repairs sticks. Oh, it's terrible. It'll come to me. But he's done well, and I again very proud of him too. Like he didn't, after the Wall Street career ended, didn't sit around, just found something else to do, and he fixes these sticks I guess he's got a franchise fixing the sticks. Pretty good idea, right? Instead of buying those new expensive sticks, just repair them. We'll get going here soon, guys. I've got to take a call here soon, but a few more. The stories about warm weather and playing in LA. Was there anything to the warm weather? No, it's fantastic. It's funny because the story was, when I got traded there, LA was the only team in the South in warm weather and everything. And the old NHL thing was, you can't win. Like you can't concentrate. It's too nice out there or whatever. I get so the first Christmas Eve, we're out there sitting in the hot tub. We rented a house with a pool and a hot tub in the backyard, and I told the story, but we're sitting in the hot tub on Christmas Eve having a cocktail outside, and I'm thinking, and at that time I was still kind of down, like, because I love playing in New York so much, but I started thinking, man, maybe this isn't so bad after all. And then when Wayne got traded there, it was one of the best places in the National Hockey League to play. New York is fantastic. I'll never lose that part of my career. But any Don Maloney stories? Don Maloney and I were roommates too. So there's a couple of stories, but I am not saying them online or on the show. Great guy. Yeah. Got another guy. Man, we had some good guys. I think back to the great guys and great team players that we had, the Rangers back then, those early 80s. The same thing in the late 70s too. But he was a good player. And again, and I mean this a total compliment. He wasn't the greatest skater, didn't have the best shot. Most of the time we laugh when we look back. Most of the time he was, kicking the puck instead of carrying it. That's just the way he was. You see him in the corners all the time, and we got a lot of his career. And he's really done well after the game too. It's good to see. Jay Miller, what a funny guy, great guy. I've kept in touch with him a little bit. I like Jay a lot. He's in Cape Cod. Man, he's a tough guy. He'd take on anybody. And he kind of had and he's not goofy, but he's kind of had that goofy way about him. I told the story where, Wayne Gretzky were out there. Like Wayne would have 3 or 4 minute shifts, but we never said to ourselves, if other guys did it, we'd say, that's selfish. You got to think of the team. When Wayne did it, he was doing it more because he really felt like he had something going on. He was going to help the team. But we were playing a game in LA at the end of the first period. Wayne had been out there for 3 or 4 minutes, and we weren't playing well. So everybody comes, we had a veteran team. We really didn't need the coaches to come in and let us know we weren't playing well. The older guys, pretty much all the guys in the team would address themselves. We come in, we're mad at ourselves. Come on, guys, we need to get going. This is terrible. It sucked. And Jay made a comment. He's frustrated. He goes, well, maybe people shouldn't stay out there for those 3 or 4 minute shifts. Obviously talking about Wayne. And rarely did Wayne react to stuff, but everybody was hot because we weren't playing well. And Wayne takes off his gloves and sticks and throws it in front of Jay's stall. And the whole locker room was watching this. And we're, again, we're older guys. So we've seen a lot, so it was kind of like we were going, oh, this is going to be good. And Wayne goes, if you think you can do any better, you go take these. And Jay paused for a second because now he realizes what he's done. And I think he said something like, oh, I'm just joking or frustrated or something. And then Wayne kind of regrouped, realizing what he had done. That wasn't like Wayne at all. And so he grabbed his stuff. He says, come on, let's go. Let's get going. Dropped it right away. We were all frustrated, but that's the kind of stuff Jay would do. But man, he was tough. He would take on everybody. Yeah. William Lance was let go. Only coach. Oh. William Lance was let go as only coach. A foot. Don't know what you mean. So he's let go. Got the boot. Foot. Did I get to play? No, I didn't play with Mike Gartner. Did not. Derek Sanderson, or recently, yes. Sorry, passed the Derek Sanderson. Derek Sanderson would have great stories when Gresh was a rookie. Yeah, sure. Derek Sanderson's a storyteller too. I got to know Derek more in the business world after he was a financial planner when I was in the agent business. Actually, got to be pretty good friends. Spent some time with him. He, as it's not telling stories out of school, he really beat his body up pretty bad. I haven't talked to him in probably 8, 9, 10 years since I saw him. So I don't know how he's doing. All right, guys. Well, this is a great show. Geez, we almost gone for an hour and a half. Great show. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, maybe I'll just do it by myself from now on. We don't need anybody else. We're going to answer questions all the time. Everybody stay cool. Have a fun weekend. Talk to you next week.